Okay, so what we're going to do now is build the hand and finger rig. Now this of course is going to get quite technical is because we're going to be dealing with quite a bit of bounce. So go ahead and switch to edit mode, and what you want to do is simply turn on the deform layer. So go ahead and do shift middle mouse button and focus in on the hand. Click on this bone and you can press the period key on your numpad to home in on it, and go ahead and zoom out a bit and press the 7 key to go to your top view. Now we're going to be rigging the thumb at the very end, so right now we're just going to concentrate on this area. So the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and zoom in a bit and go ahead and select all of these bones over here. So we're going to simply duplicate these bones, do Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, press the 1 key, press the Control key down, click on this blue arrow and just move it up a bit like so. Okay. Now the other thing we need to do here is first do the copy transforms from these bones, right? So here the way I put the view is that the non-deformed bones are going to be here on the left side and the deformed bones are going to be on the right side. It'll just make it easier to work with this. So go ahead and switch to pose mode. Now here what you have to do is actually click on this bone first, then click on this one, do Shift Control C and do copy transforms. So go ahead and do this for the fingers first. We're going to do the palms later. Okay, so now on the palm area over here, we're going to click on this one, press the shift key, click on this one, and do the same thing. Okay. Okay, so that's done. So now what we want to do is go ahead and switch back to edit mode and press the 1 key and press the A key to deselect everything. Now here you can press the Control key down, and if you do your left mouse button you'll get this lasso selection tool. So go ahead and just select all the bones, and of course press the G key to make sure everything is moving. Now here what we want to do is press the M key and actually move all these bones to our non-deform layer. Go ahead and press the shift key down and turn this layer back on. Now go ahead and press the Control key down, click on this blue arrow and put everything back to the way it was. Do the middle mouse button to make sure that you did this correct. Okay, now go ahead and just turn on the non-deform layer. Now press the 7 key. Now here of course what we have to do is go to this bone tab over here and make sure that the deform is off on all these bones, right? So go ahead and just select each bone and just go through this process. Okay, so now here on these palm bones, what we want to do is change their appearance. So go ahead and press the shift key down and click on all the palm bones. Then lastly, click on this m.hand.fk.l, and here you're going to do Control P and just do keep offset. Okay, so now this is all part of the non-deformed bones. Now this is where it's going to get a bit involved here. We have to actually name these bones. So what you're going to do is simply click over here on each bone, type in M, and just do backspace over here and enter. So I'm going to do this for all the bones. Okay. Okay, so now that you've gone through that process, just click on each bone and just make sure that you set up these bones correctly. The deform is off and you've named them. Okay, so what we're going to do is go under File, Do Save As, and we're going to save this as Rigging Lesson 04 R.Blend. Okay, so what we're going to do now is set up the palm rig. So go ahead and click on this bone, do Shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, do Control 1 to go to the back view, press the Control key down, click on this blue arrow and just move it up a bit. Now this is going to be our palm touch bone. So here we're just going to call this palm dot touch dot L and enter. Now over here we don't actually have to use FK because the hand and finger bones are always going to work regardless if you're using FK or IK. So I'll leave that up to you. I'm just going to keep it plain and simple over here. So this is going to be your touch bone. Just make sure that the deform is unchecked on this. So what we want to do over here is press the M key and actually put this bone on this layer. Go to the data tab, press the shift key down and turn this layer on. Okay, now go ahead and do the middle mouse button to rotate, and what you want to do is actually switch to pose mode. And what we want to do is now tell this bone to copy the transforms of this palm touch bone. So go ahead and click on this one, press the shift key down, click on this one, and do shift control C, and here we're just going to do copy transforms. Okay, now go ahead and first switch to edit mode, go ahead and click on this bone, do Control 1, and here we're going to press the Control key down and move this back into place. Do the middle mouse button to make sure that you did that correctly, right? It should be overlapping. Now go ahead and just turn only the non-deform layer on. Go ahead and switch to pose mode and click this, go to the constraints, and here of course we're going to do local space in local space. This is because we only want to rotate this bone if the touch bone rotates in its local space. Okay, now the other thing we need to do is actually basically take this transform and apply it to these bones, meaning that we're going to work with the same exact bone, right? So here what we want to do is to go ahead and select all these bones, then click on this as the last bone because this is where the constraint is, and here you're just going to go under pose, and under constraints you can do copy constraints to selected bones. Okay, so when you do that, it'll just appear over here. Now here all you have to do is really just put these values down a little bit. Okay, so here in this case I'm just going to type in point, let's say 900, enter. Okay, and here maybe we can type in 0.700 and enter, and over here we can type in 0.500, enter, and over here we can type in 0.200, enter. Okay, now you can mess around with these numbers, they're not set in stone. Now the reason we did this is because now when you go to the data tab and just click on the touch bone over here, and of course if you do Control 1 and press the R key, you'll notice that basically it's giving you the ability to slowly rotate this area. Now this area of the palm really cannot rotate that much, so here we're going to limit the rotation by simply adding a limit rotation. Of course we have to do local space for transform limit X, and here we'll say that okay, we can move by -10 and max is going to be 20. Now of course you can experiment with these numbers, and over here in order to make this work correctly, this is going to be a good candidate for X, Y, Z, right? Because our dominant axis is the x-axis, right? Meaning that the object itself is really just attaching to the X ring. That's the idea here. So here we can just lock these two guys up. So now when you press the R key, you'll notice that here we can simply lock this, okay? And that's it. That's how simple this is to set up. Now here what we need to do is actually set up let's go ahead and set up the bone shape. So go ahead and do Shift S and do cursor to selected, do Shift A. Over here we can just add a circle. Go ahead and click on this bone, zoom out, press the Shift key down, click on this circle, do Shift Control C, just to copy transforms, and of course click on the circle, do Control A, visual transform, go to its constraints, turn this off to make sure that it took it, X this out. So here I'm just going to call this w.palm.touch.l and enter. And hover the mouse over here, do Control C, go ahead and zoom back in, click on this touch bone, go to the bone tab, do Control V. Now go ahead and zoom out, click over here and press the S key to scale this in quite a bit over here. Okay, now of course here I'm going to click on extract. I'm going to actually scale this in a bit more and press the tab key to go into edit mode and scale this in even more. Now of course press the 7 key to get an idea of what's going on. So we're basically looking at this from the top, right? So here I'm just going to rotate this on its local y-axis. I'm just going to make sure this is on local. Though it doesn't really matter if this is on global or local, you still have to press the axis that you're seeing 2 times. So here I'm going to press the R key, press the Y key 2 times, and just type 90 and enter. Okay. Now you have to decide what type of bone shape do you want for this touch bone. Okay. So press the 7 key. So here I'm just going to basically press the G key to move this, press the R key to rotate, and just get an idea first of what this is actually looking like. So I'm going to press the G key over here, maybe press the 3 key to see where this is. Okay. Now here, maybe what we can do is press the S key and press the Z key 2 times and scale it on the Z. Now again, you can come up with your own shape. You don't have to do exactly what I do. Okay, and press the 3 key. And I'm going to press the R key over here. And I guess what I'd like to do is click on, let's say maybe these 2 vertices. And I'm going to do enable over here. I'm going to press the 7 key, press the G key, and maybe move this in just a bit more, not too much. Just give me like a general idea. This is going to be the palm bone. Of course, you can work on these shapes all day. So I'm just going to click over here on these 2 vertices, press the 7 key and press the G key and maybe push it out over here a bit. Kind of like this. Maybe click over here and bring this in. Okay. Do Control 1. And maybe I'll just move it over here. Okay, so this looks okay to me, right? You can decide whatever shape you want. Just do, let's actually press the M key and put this on this last layer over here and click this just to make sure that you're happy with this. So if you press the R key, you can see that we can start to rotate this, okay? So that's all set up. So go ahead and press the 7 key to go to your top view. Press the A key to deselect everything. Now let's go ahead and switch to the data tab and make sure that over here we have the non-deformable layer selected. So here I'm just going to go under File and Save. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.